hours away from the Orange Bowl. Clemson takes on Oklahoma for a spot in the national title game. Aaron Cheslock has been in South Florida all week long. Aaron, there's been a lot of talk about last year when the two teams met in the Russell Athletic Bowl. It was a blowout by Clemson. Great game for the Tigers, but things are a lot different this year.
Yeah, Lauren, when it all starts with the quarterback position at all levels of football, and there are two completely different signal callers this year for the Tigers and the Sooners. One in Baker Mayfield, who's one of the better quarterbacks in the Big 12, arguably the best, and of course the Heisman finalist, Deshaun Watson, out of Tiger Town for Clemson. And remember, it was Cole Stout that led the Tigers offense in the Russell Athletic Bowl last year. Big-time win by Clemson in Orlando. The Sooners had Trevor Knight, not Baker Mayfield. Now, both these guys in Watson and Mayfield can change the complexion of the game in a heartbeat. Tigers absolutely obliterating OU 40-6. Sooner players and coaches called the performance embarrassing all week. Dabo Swinney asked about keeping his team focused on this year's matchup in a very interesting way. If he had any, quote, Jedi mind tricks.
Last year. Jedi mind tricks. Is that Star Wars? No Jedi mind tricks. Last year's performance ain't going to win this year. Different teams, they turned the ball over 5 times against us, and we're a good team. That's not going to be a pretty result. If we turn the ball over 5 times, it's not going to be a pretty result. When you put the film on, they know who can play pretty quickly. All you got to do is put the film on, and Oklahoma will get your attention.
Despite the top-ranked Tigers going undefeated this year, it's Oklahoma that's coming into the matchup as about a 4-point favorite by most of your outlets out there in Vegas. And, one of the reasons for that, Lauren, might be that they've been playing 10 straight games to wrap up the regular season. That's a long stretch, and it'll take a toll for any team. But, again, a couple weeks off and some practices under their belt now, getting revamped and revitalized. Dabo Swinney says they're ready to go. We will hear from the Clemson coach coming up at the top of the hour.
And Aaron, it's such a celebration just to be there. However, there is the task at hand. What's kind of the feel of the players been like? I mean, have they allowed themselves to kind of relax and enjoy things, or has it been all about business?
Well, look, the whole mantra during the regular season, Lauren, was one game at a time. It's a one-game season. Every game's the biggest game. When you're playing teams like Wofford and Wake Forest, no offense to them, but when you're the Clemson Tigers, that's not really, we're a little brighter than that. Now, once they get to the college football playoff, they're seeing the big picture. So Dabo Swinney says they want to print 15 tickets. They got to win this one against Oklahoma to get to game number 15, but they are really, really close.
Yes, they are, and we are all so anxious for this afternoon. Aaron Bowl Sports Director Aaron Cheslock is live in Fort Lauderdale this morning with the first look at the matchup. And Aaron, we know they're down there for business, but they've been off for a couple weeks, and boy, it seems like a much-needed rest for this team.
Yeah, after a couple weeks off, they've been practicing in Clemson for a little over a week, and then got a few practices under their belt down here in South Florida. But remember, maybe the most remarkable thing about this team is that they had to play 10 straight coming down the stretch of the regular season through the ACC championship game. Of course, they were 10-0 in those 10 games. But again, a good week of practice here in the Florida heat. Dabo Swinney says his team has their legs back under them now, so they're starting to feel like themselves, and the defense certainly needed it, because in the last couple games they gave up 27 or more in 3 of the last 4, in fact. And they'll be taking on another high-powered offense later this afternoon in Oklahoma, a team that scored 50 or more in 5 of their last 7 matchups. But Dabo Swinney says after watching his team this week with a very close eye, they're revamped, they're revitalized, they're ready to roll.
I think we're really, really healthy. We're in great shape physically. We're going to be a fast football team. I like where we are as far as our injury report and all that type of stuff, but I can't really quantify it. I know we played 10 straight games, and that's just kind of you just go. You don't really worry about it. You just go get ready for the next game and do the best you can. But certainly has been great having some time off. These guys getting their legs, and I think we've practiced really smart. The guys feel good about the plan, and now we just got to go execute it.
So the Tigers seem pretty good on the injury front. However, they won't be with, or they'll be without, rather, Deion Kane among 3 players suspended from the team for conduct detrimental to the team. Kane was one of the big-time deep threats for this Clemson offense. So that means more pressure on the shoulders of Deshaun Watson as well as Oklahoma quarterback Baker Mayfield. It is a quarterback-driven league. These guys will have to step up on arguably the biggest stage of their lives, Lauren.
And they both have had impressive seasons, so I'm sure today will be nothing new. Aaron, people are so excited about this, so we'll talk more about this. I know we're going to break down all elements of this game this morning. Thank you. We will have continuing Orange Bowl coverage
all throughout the morning. Ben?
Thanks for the update, Chris. Well, what a season it was for Clemson. After going unbeaten for 14 games, the Tigers fall to Alabama in the national championship game. The epic matchup, though, wrapped up just after midnight. The Tigers and Crimson Tide stayed neck and neck really the entire game, but Bama goes on to win 45-40. And our team is still in Arizona this morning as the Tigers get ready to head home.
Sports director Aaron Cheslock is live in Glendale. And Aaron, it was so close, but some missed opportunities, some bold play calls by Alabama really sealed the deal in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, guys, a great game, but an absolutely brutal finish for the Clemson fans. The Tigers were up by 3 points going into the fourth quarter. They had won 51 straight when leading heading into that fourth quarter, and that's exactly where we'll pick it up. Alabama coach Nick Saban getting a little tricky. After they tie it up with a field goal, he goes for the onside kick, and Bama would get it. Then the play that would put them up for good, Jake Coker, the former Florida State Seminole, finds O.J. Howard 51 yards. He hit him for 53 yards earlier. All after star corner Mackenzie Alexander had left the game. A kick return would be the final blow. Clemson's perfect season comes to an end in the 15th game, a 45-40 loss. It's Deshaun Watson's first loss when playing the entire game, but he's already looking towards next year.
We'll be back. This is in Tampa, of course. Jordan's coming back. Tay's coming back. Mike Williams. Hopefully Wayne decide to come back, and we have basically our whole offense back. So we played, maybe 30s, 40 freshmen. So we have a lot of guys coming back, young talent, and we got a good recruiting class coming in. So this is gonna motivate us, and we learn from it.
You can't let one game define you, and I think that's right now all of our hearts are broken. We really wanted, obviously, to win this game and to be 15-0. Last year's national champion was 14-1. This year's national champion is 14-1. So we stand toe-to-toe with everybody in the country. This program doesn't take a backseat to anybody. We can play with anybody. We can beat anybody.
In the loss, Watson becomes the first player in FBS history to throw for 4,000 yards and rush for 1,000. A heck of an accomplishment, but one he could care less about right now. One of the toughest locker rooms I've been in since being in this business, but the majority of the Tigers after the game showed a lot of resolve. Coming up a little bit later, we'll talk to a couple former Clemson Tigers about just how far this program has come. Guys?
I was going to say, Aaron, it's remarkable to see the sound you got from Deshaun and Dabo. I mean, they looked really composed after this, and way too early, but I've already seen some polls for next year. The Tigers sitting at the #1 spot for many of those already.
Yeah, you got to figure when they get wide receiver back, Mike Williams, that's going to be a huge threat on the outside. Remember, they lost him with a fractured neck first game of the season. You had a guy like Hunter Renfrow, who is a true freshman. If you look at Hunter Renfrow, he should not be playing D1 football in your mind. And he goes out and he scores 2 touchdowns in the first quarter against Alabama. They have so much talent coming back. You got to figure another year for Deshaun Watson. He had a heck of a year this year, but he's only going to get better next year.
Yeah, what else can he do at this point? But I'm sure he's got a list, and maybe the comments from Deshaun and from Dabo will kind of lead the way for Tigers fans as far as looking forward to next year. Aaron, we'll talk to you all morning long. Thank you.
A lot of heavy delays at all. Lauren?
Chris, thank you so much. We'll check back. Well, what a game. After going undefeated and playing in the first national title game in more than 3 decades, Clemson fell to Alabama last night. The game wrapped up just after midnight this morning with both teams proving why they were there. You just can't say enough about Clemson, especially their quarterback, Deshaun Watson. He broke the record for total yards in a national championship game. In the end, the Crimson Tide pushed ahead, winning their 4th national title in 7 years. The final score of last night's game, 40 45-40.
And Fox Carolina Sports Director Aaron Cheslock was there for it all. He joins us live now this morning from the University of Phoenix Stadium. And Aaron, what's kind of crazy about this entire game is it really arguably the two biggest things that turned the tide, so to speak, were on special teams.
Turn the tide, Ben. I like what you did there. This is literally as tough a loss as you can possibly imagine for the Clemson Tigers. A back-and-forth game, 5 lead changes in it, and really they had the lead going into the fourth quarter. They'd won 51 straight when that happened, and then it turned on a dime. We'll pick it up in the fourth quarter after tying it up with a field goal. Nick Saban, he's never lost a title game at Alabama, makes a call that shows why. Going onside kick, and the Tide gets it. Then they'd capitalize. A huge touchdown to take the lead after the Tigers cut it to 4. Another special team screw up. Kenyon Drake takes a kick 95 yards. Clemson could never recover. They battled back to make it 45-40, but in the end, heart wasn't enough. The season that's inspired so many fans, alumni, and former players comes to an end. A ton of former Tiger stars making the trip to Phoenix, Taj Boyd and Grady Jarrett included, to support their alma mater. They say the progress the program's made, however, gives them a lot of reason for excitement going forward.
This is just the beginning for this team. There's an error in store. There's a run in store, and Clemson's just making the beginning of it. It made me really proud, just being a former Tiger and just watching from afar how well they did all season and how they grown throughout the season. And I'm just really, really excited for the future for this program. And but I mean, it's hard to win a game when we have as many mistakes as we did. And but I mean, that's just going to be motivation for this team going on into the future. So I mean, I'm really excited about it.
The Tigers simply couldn't recover from the big plays. 70% of Alabama's yards came on 8 plays. So the Clemson defense played extremely well for the majority of the game, but 70% of the yards on 8 plays, just an astonishing letdown on those 8 plays. Now, the Tigers do finish 14-1, the best record, the most wins ever for a Clemson team. So a lot of things to look forward to. We're going to have more Clemson recaps coming up at the top of the hour. Guys?
Yeah, it's hard to hear that, but it really is the truth. Now, Aaron, that onside kick, that play call, I mean, everyone is talking about that, and that place really seems stunned. I mean, both sides were in shock that happened. Dabo Swinney, did he touch on that after the game?
Yeah, I mean, he mentioned it was a great play call, and this is, like you said, Nick Saban's 4th title in 7 years. He's never lost one while at Alabama. A lot of folks think he's the greatest coach in college football today, possibly one of the best ever. You make a call like that in a 24-24 game. I mean, you think back to the Super Bowl a few years ago when Sean Payton makes the same call for the New Orleans Saints, getting the onside kick at the start of the second half. Big calls like that can win big games, and that certainly changed the momentum of the game for the Crimson Tide, and they wouldn't look back.
Aaron, you had an incredibly busy season covering this team this year. Got a feeling, though, next year could be quite similar if a lot of these guys come back, which we'll talk about next time we see you. Thanks so much.
Now, before the game even started, a Clemson alum received quite the honor in Glendale. Major Matthew Diesel Mayer led the squadron of fighter jets flying over the stadium. This is video of their practice flight on Monday afternoon. And another Clemson alum in Malden.
Remarkable NFL career. Sports director Aaron Cheslock joining us now with more from the SAP Center in San Jose.
All right, guys, welcome to Super Bowl opening night. It's essentially media days, but it's the first time it's in prime time. The Denver Broncos are out talking to the media right now. Obviously, Peyton Manning with the biggest gathering in front of his booth. The Carolina Panthers just minutes away from making their way out here. But obviously, the big story with the Broncos is the quarterback, Peyton Manning. A huge story coming out today that some friends are saying that this will be his last game. Obviously, it's been speculated for a while now. So the first thing, naturally, that Peyton Manning has to deal with, topic of conversation, it's not the ball game against the Panthers. It's whether this will be his last game in the NFL.
Not getting too far ahead, not looking too far back has really helped me And so I am excited about this week and looking forward to playing in this game. And I'm going to focus on that and then deal with all the other stuff after this.
Super Bowl 50 just days away, but again, tonight it's all about media availability. We're going to bring you a Gamecock tie, and Darian Stewart, former South Carolina defensive back, to you coming up in just a little bit. And of course, we're going to have full Panthers coverage coming up for you as soon as they get out there. Till then, from Super Bowl 50 Media Night in San Jose, Aaron Cheslock, Fox Carolina Sports. See you back here in just a little bit.
Aaron, thanks a lot. So much going on there. Remember, we will have live coverage from San Francisco for Super Bowl 50 all week long as our Fox Carolina crew head out with that one-on-one interview from the SAP Center in San Jose.
All right, guys, it was hard to find a local tie here on the Denver Broncos, but we found the one. Darian Stewart, defensive back for the Broncos. Darian, first of all, I'm going to have to ask you about the Gamecocks. What do you think about everything that's going on there? And obviously, you know, pretty cool event you're at right now.
Hey, I'm riding with my Gamecocks. Hey, the long run. I'm with them for the long run, so it doesn't matter. I'm happy with Coach Muschamp getting up, man, and I'm ready for them to, you know, change the vibe over there.
When you see that you're going up against the Carolina Panthers, that's got to mean a little bit more to you, knowing that a bunch of people that watched you in college are going to be tuning into this game.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they are, man, because they were Panthers fan at heart also. So, I mean, hey, I'm enjoying it, man. I'm happy. I kind of knew that it was going to come to this, and I'm happy that it's here.
Now that you're here at the Super Bowl, at Media Days, it's got to be different than anything you've ever experienced before. Just talk about the whole experience of getting here to California.
It is, man, and I'm enjoying it, man. I'm just taking it all in and just enjoying every moment of it, man.
And if I were to ask you your favorite part of this so far, you been asked any crazy questions? Anybody with crazy Broncos shirt come up to you or something like that?
Not yet, man. I'm pretty sure it's coming, man. We still early in the week, so I'm sure it's coming soon.
All right, give me something for some Gamecocks fans watching back at home.
What you need?
Say something to them. You can talk to them right now.
You didn't put me on the spot, man. Gamecock fans, what's happening, man? Darian Stewart here, man. We live right now.
Darian Stewart, congratulations on getting here. Good luck to you in the Super Bowl, okay?
Yes,
okay. That's Darian Stewart, defensive back for the Denver Broncos. Again, the Carolina Panthers about to come out here in just a little bit. We're going to bring you some Panthers coverage coming up right after this. Till then, with the Panthers and the Broncos from Super Bowl 50 Media Days, Aaron Cheslock, Fox Carolina Sports.
He says man a lot, doesn't he?
He does. You know, it's got to be something when you got a camera right in your face and asking all these questions and all that. And I'm sure he's excited. Well, our Super Bowl coverage continues tonight. The Carolina Panthers looking to knock off Peyton Manning and the Denver Broncos in Super Bowl Sunday. And tonight, media from all over the world gathered for opening night there at the Super Bowl to hear what players have to say about being center stage.
And we head out right now to Sports Director Aaron Cheslock for more from the SAP Center in San Jose.
All right, finally some Panthers coverage to bring you, and one of the best cornerbacks on the team, Charles Tillman. Peanut, thanks for taking some time with us. I know you're not going to be able to play in this game, but talk about some of the support that you can offer some of the other guys. You're one of the few guys on this team that's been in a Super Bowl before.
Yeah, right now my role is water boy, towel boy, cheerleader, coach, you know, whatever my role is or whatever I can do to help these guys win, that's what I'm going to do.
Well, obviously, this is opening night, just starting the week off here, but how does this compare with, you know, the other ones you've been to?
Well, I think the last time I went to, we did it at the stadium, so this is actually a little bit nicer because we're indoor and it's actually kind of cooler. Reebok was a sponsor. We didn't get that much cool stuff. So now that we got Nike, I think we got these nice little jumpsuits. So, yeah, we got shoes, jumpsuits, got a lot of free stuff. So, yeah, man, I'm enjoying it a lot more the second time around.
Well, because the swag's on point.
We got more swag this year. They gave us some cool gift bags. So, yeah, our swag level is really high.
In all seriousness, as we get a picture taken with us right now.
Money ball. Stop, man.
When you're talking about this team going up against a Peyton Manning-led offense, you faced this guy before.
Yeah.
What are the top things you can tell these defensive backs, in particular Josh Norman, who talks so much, and obviously they're going to be looking at him?
Just play your game. You know, don't let anybody get in your head, but just do you, play your game. do what you've done all season long. We don't have to change anything. Just be ourselves.
When I say Peanut Tillman, Super Bowl champion.
Well, I lost the first one, so hopefully I can win the second one. So I'm hoping to get a ring so I can not replace this ring, but to replace this ring, if you know what I mean.
All right, thanks so much for joining us.
Yes, sir.
Good luck to you on Sunday. All right, that is Charles Tillman, one of the Carolina Panthers. He won't be playing, but certainly anybody with Super Bowl experience, an integral part. Much more Carolina coverage coming up for you at 11 o'clock. We'll see you back here from San Jose then.
And remember, we'll have live coverage in San Francisco for Super Bowl 50 all week long as our crews head out. So I'll be joining Aaron on a Wednesday. And on Saturday, the special of February 6th at 7 p.m. Be sure to catch the Panthers' pursuit of the title for the one-on-one interviews and everything you need to know leading up to Sunday's big game. See a lot of excitement out there. They actually started all the fan stuff this past week. In San Jose for us with more.
All right, welcome back here to San Jose. Of course, opening night for Super Bowl 50. All the media in this place. It is an absolute packed house. Now the Carolina Panthers, the focal point, the second team available. Obviously, so many storylines, but it starts and stops with number one behind center, and that is Cam Newton. Such a huge crowd with Cam, trying to get as many questions in as possible. But the first one of the first few he was asked was about Peyton Manning and what Manning said about him.
Well, anything that the sheriff has to say, you can probably, ink it in gold. It's just a tremendous honor to be even mentioned and affiliated with the face of the league. But yet, I think I have bigger fish to fry on Sunday, and then we worry about the rest of the 8 to 10 years after that.
We'll have more from the Panthers gunslinger, as well as more one-on-one interviews coming up for you in just a little bit in sports. Till then, with the Panthers from Super Bowl 50 opening night in San Jose, Aaron Cheslock, Fox Carolina Sports.
And remember, we will have live coverage from San Francisco for Super Bowl 50 all week long as our Fox Carolina crews head west. And on Saturday, February 6th, the night before the Super Bowl, be sure to catch.
Only one is leading the fight from right here in our community. Greenville Health System, advancing healthcare for generations.
Opening night for Super Bowl 50. Hey there, I'm Aaron Cheslock coming to you from San Jose. The Carolina Panthers are the absolute story right now. A packed house here in San Jose, trying to get as many interviews as possible. All different kinds of media. Folks dressed up in clowns. An absolute crazy show going on right now. And Cam Newton, the big star, we showed you him a little bit earlier in the 11 p.m. hour. But there's also some local ties here, including Greenwood native Josh Norman. Norman having some fun with the media, wearing a mask earlier when he first started answering questions. He's one of the Panthers defenders that have the tall task of stopping a future Hall of Famer on offense, on Denver's offense, in Peyton Manning.
I enjoy every challenge. The reason why I enjoy it, because that makes you better as an opponent, as a player, as a trying to be one of the best. That only creates greatness within yourself. And if I can create greatness within myself by playing the best of all time, then shoot, man, what that looks like, I want to see. I really do want to see, because that's how I play myself. That's how I get ready for games and get amped for it, because if this is so-called the best, where do I match up with that?
All right, if we're talking about locals in this sportscast, it doesn't get more local than this. You got Josh Norman on defense. How about Brenton Burson on offense? Brenton, thanks for joining us. Former Wofford Terrier. Got a lot of Carolina fans watching back at home. How proud do you think they are right now?
Oh, they're so proud for the local guys from Carolina and the whole team. It's been a great season, and it's nothing like this. This media day is awesome, and it's just getting us started for this week, and we're real excited for Sunday.
You're a guy from Charlotte. You went to Wofford. You're as Carolina as it gets. How much does it mean to you personally? I know you watched some Panthers games growing up too, right?
Oh, personally, it's amazing. I went to the first game in Clemson. Parents had season tickets, still do, and my family, they're all Panthers fans. All my friends are from Charlotte. Charlotte, Panthers fan. So, I mean, being able to play for the home team and go to Wofford and then play for the Panthers and then get to this kind of stage, it's amazing.
Got to ask you about the quarterbacks. It seemed like Peyton Manning got a huge ovation, a little bit of a mixed reaction when Cam came out. What do you think the differences are? Why are people still so sour on Cam?
I don't know. I feel like Peyton's been around for, I don't know how many years he's played, but he's an old vet, and he's had an amazing career, and he's earned the respect of everyone. And Cam's just getting into his own, and I think he's had an MVP year. I'm sure a lot of people would say that, and he'll probably win the MVP this weekend. And I'm sure people are going to start turning and becoming more positive towards him. And he's an amazing person, amazing player, and he's a great leader and teammate. And I got nothing but good things to say about him.
All right, Brenton, I'll end it on this. This is your first opening night, just kind of looking around, taking it all in. Is this as crazy as you expected it to be, or maybe even a little crazier?
It's definitely a little crazier. I wasn't expecting, like, the bridge and, I mean, all the fans that bought tickets to come here, and it's an amazing experience, and it's a fun week, and we're excited.
All right, Brenton, thanks very much. Good luck to you on Sunday. Brenton Burson, a Panthers wide receiver, a former Wofford Terrier, just one of the many Carolina Panthers hoping to bring home the Lombardi Trophy in Super Bowl 50. We have a full week of coverage coming to you from all over the state of California, from San Francisco to San Diego, or San Francisco to San Jose, and absolute wall-to-wall coverage coming for you on Fox Carolina. I'll see you back here tomorrow night. Till then, with the Panthers in San Jose, at least for tonight, on NFL's Super Bowl 50 opening night. Aaron Cheslock, Fox Carolina Sports.
And remember, we have live coverage from San Francisco for Super Bowl 50 all week long. Our Fox Carolina crews will be heading west, and on Saturday, February 6th, it's just days away. And as the Carolina Panthers prepare to take on the Denver Broncos, they'll do it on the biggest national stage. And some of our own crew, they're getting ready to head west. Some are already there.
That's right. Some, of course, already there tonight. Sports Director Aaron Cheslock live at Levi's Stadium. He is joining us now. The quarterbacks were a big topic of conversation earlier today, right, Aaron?
Yeah, Cody, Diana, and their quarterbacks are going to be a big story throughout the rest of the week. Obviously, Cam Newton likely to be named the league's MVP this weekend. Then, of course, Peyton Manning on the other side of the ball, the future Hall of Famer, and so many storylines to talk about this. But Peyton Manning against the Panthers defense is a very big one, and they know what they're up against when talking about the living legend in Peyton Manning. And even Cam Newton says he's learned a few things from number 18.
A lot of things that Peyton has done, is doing, that I wish I could mimic, but I can't, do it like Peyton can. It's only, he can do it. But I try to translate not only things I learned from him, but, other quarterbacks in this league, and I try to apply it to my own.
No one's comparing Cam Newton's style to Peyton Manning's, but the soon-to-be MVP is just one of a long list of QBs who've learned from watching the Hall of Famer. 18 years in the league for the former #1 pick, more yards and touchdowns than anyone in history, while torturing defenders for almost 2 decades, including some Panthers.
Peyton, his entire career, you're never worried about him running away from you, but he gets the ball out so quick you might not get there. Peyton is... his numbers, his career, you look at him, it speaks for itself. It's a challenge. It's been a challenge for the 12 years I've been in the league playing against him, and so I don't see it. I don't see it until he decides to stop. I don't see it, not being a challenge.
It's very special. He's going to go down as easily one of the greatest to ever play. He's a guy who's been there, done that. You name it, he's done it. He's Peyton Manning. When a guy, when they say Peyton, and everybody can be like Manning, he's big. And but we got to make sure we leave the legacy at the door when we go out there and step on the field.
Peyton's a great quarterback, but we're not going to treat him as any different than anybody else. We're going to go out there and play our brand of football.
Manning could very well be playing his final game on Sunday as he passes his boss John Elway for the oldest signal caller to ever start in a Super Bowl. Many around the country will root for him to win. But don't count Carolina fans in that group, or the Panthers.
He's an all-time great, future Hall of Famer. It means a lot because I've played against him before, but at the same time, I don't want him to win. Hats off to him. Nothing but respect for the guy. The way he's fought for the last 18-plus years to be in the position he is now, to go to multiple Super Bowls, win one. It's a tremendous feat for him, but I don't want him to win, If he retires, he retires, but hopefully he retires on a sour note.
Carolina fans certainly agreeing with Mike Tolbert on that. Now, Manning did reportedly tell Bill Belichick, the New England head coach after the AFC Championship, that this could be his, quote, last rodeo, as in his final game of his historic career. But Manning, asked repeatedly about it since then, has denied that this will be, in fact, his last game. But, again, a lot of the speculation pointing that way. We'll hear from the Denver Broncos quarterback a little bit later in the 10 o'clock hour. Guys?
All right, Aaron, sounds good. We'll see you here in a few minutes. Well, the rest of our continuing live coverage of Super Bowl 50 right here at 10. The Panthers set to take on the Denver Broncos coming up on Sunday.
Yeah, and we want to bring back sports director Aaron Cheslock. He's in Santa Clara. Aaron, you talked to the Panthers about facing Peyton Manning, but Manning talked today too, right? What did he have to say?
Well, look, Diana, Cody, there is no question that the Carolina Panthers are facing one of the all-time great quarterbacks in Peyton Manning. But he is certainly not the same quarterback he was 10 years ago. And you can really make the argument that it's Manning with the big challenge ahead of him, facing a top 10 Carolina Panthers defense. Now, this is a unit that's faced great quarterbacks all season long. Guys like Green Bay's Aaron Rodgers. How about back-to-back playoff games against Seattle's Russell Wilson and Arizona's Carson Palmer? They've beaten all three. Luke Kuechly, Josh Norman and company, arguably those two, the best at the linebacker and cornerback positions respectively. And when you talk to Peyton Manning, the Denver quarterback knows it.
It's a very active secondary. They do a lot of different things, play a lot of different coverages. All of them, blitz. All of them are part of the blitz packages as well. They play man-to-man well, play zone well. You can tell they're well coached. You can tell they communicate very well. You see them talking out there, and all those things are very evident on the game film.
Manning did face the Panthers a few years back, and he beat them handily. But again, this is a different QB against a much improved Carolina defense. And if we're talking about great QBs, we're going to go back to Cam Newton coming up at 11, talking about Clemson Tigers quarterback Deshaun Watson. Of course, this is a story we've talked about a lot. Cam Newton bringing up the Heisman front runner for next year again today. We'll hear from that coming up at 11.
All right, Aaron, we'll see you in just a little bit. Exciting stuff getting ready for the Super Bowl.
Yeah, a lot of hype around that game, and we will have live coverage from San Francisco and Santa Clara through Super Bowl 50 all week long. I'll be joining Aaron out there along with Ashley Manelli tomorrow, and then Lauren will be joining us.
10-0 start, and you know what, you knew there was a lot of time left in the game, but yeah, it was just tough to get things together. We're live right outside where it all went down, Levi Stadium in Santa Clara, California, and I gotta tell you what, I'm a little shocked by how people kind of partied after the Super Bowl, just because I was here just a couple of hours ago. It was crawling with fans, people going to parties and into hotel lobbies, and this place was packed. And just a couple of hours later, there is no one around, just us and security. And you can see it's still lit up, though, at Levi Stadium. Keep pounding. That was the motto for Carolina all season long. And we'll bring in Aaron to talk about this. So many storylines coming out of this game. The shocker, turnovers. I mean, uncharacteristic what we saw last night in some aspects of the game.
Yeah, I mean, when you think about the Panthers this season, the keys to success were protecting their star quarterback, Cam Newton, and keeping control of the ball. They were very consistent in not giving the ball away, and obviously that's clutch in any situation that you're talking about in terms of a huge game. But the Panthers offense simply didn't play well. We'll pick it up, show you a little bit about the game here. And it all started with the defensive line for the Denver Broncos. Von Miller ended up being your Super Bowl MVP. DeMarcus Ware forcing 4 turnovers, the Denver defense did. A lot of it due to that outstanding pass rush of those two, pressuring Cam Newton all night. 4 turnovers in total for Carolina, 3 fumbles and an interception by Cam Newton. One that really should have been caught, but it wasn't a lack of preparation for the Panthers, simply poor execution.
They did what we thought they would do, and we had to do a better job with our techniques, and we had a lot of good plays against them, and they got a couple big ones. Obviously, turnovers, you don't want to do that in any game, and especially this one, and that's what happened.
You know, we've been a team that's prided ourselves on taking care of the football, scoring after takeaways. Our defense, just hung in there all day. Really put them in a bad spot on the punt return, and they just kept finding a way to keep us close. And it was, just an inopportune time to play poorly. I just think we're disappointed in the way we lost. I feel like we never really gave ourselves even a chance, and that's a tough pill to swallow.
A common theme throughout that interview session for all the Panthers players. The Broncos, meanwhile, going out as Super Bowl champions. Peyton Manning, non-committal on whether this will be his final game in an NFL uniform, let alone a Broncos. Well, more on that a little bit later in the show. But again, it wasn't Manning. It was Denver's defense carrying the torch for the Broncos, absolutely shutting down a Panthers offense, the #1 ranked offense coming into this game. Just an absolute shocker for not just Panthers fans, but a lot of football fans in general, Ben.
Well, that's the best way to put it, Aaron. I mean, you kept watching, you kept waiting for that moment to happen for them to get some momentum, and I know we'll keep breaking down the game really all morning. Thanks again, Aaron, after a long night. We'll talk to Lauren a little bit later as well. And while many of you watched the Super Bowl from home, others cheer Super Bowl from home, others cheer Super Bowl from home, Denver's defense just really showed up. Carolina, they could never just get their offense rolling, it seemed.
I tell you what, it was the storybook matchup, right, going into it, the #1 offense versus the #1 defense. And everybody knew if Denver was going to have a shot, that defense was going to have to show up big. So, yeah, I mean, just really sad fans. We talked to so many people who really made some sacrifices to come out here and watch this game and to see how it ended up. But I got to tell you what, that 14-point difference, Aaron, it was closer than that, it felt like.
Yeah, I mean, it was a touchdown game for the majority of the game. And, you know, I was talking, doing one of those Facebook Live things with Ashley Manelli earlier, and Carolina just did not play well for 3/4 of the game, and it was still just a one-score game, which made you think if Carolina didn't play that well and Denver played that well and it was still just a one-score game, you just figured the Panthers were going to put a play or two together and pull that thing out. And especially with the way that the NFC Championship game turned out, with an absolute, bludgeoning of the Arizona Cardinals, just wasn't going to happen in Super Bowl 50. It was arguably the worst offensive game the Panthers played this season. Super Bowl MVP Von Miller, DeMarcus Ware on the outside, hitting Cam Newton all night long. The Broncos defense sacking Cam 7 times. They hit him a total of 13. Simply put, the blocking wasn't there for the Panthers offense, and thus the offense couldn't develop. 4 turnovers sealing the Panthers' fate. And it wasn't like the Panthers didn't know that Miller and Ware were the strength of Denver's defense on the outside. They just couldn't stop them.
You got to give them credit. They did a lot of good things, and again, you can't put yourself in a situation where they can pin their ears back, and that's what they did. We wouldn't have enough success on 1st and 2nd down to really kind of slow it down, and that's probably the biggest thing. We never really slowed down the pass.
The guy's a heck of a player now. I mean, that was nothing new. He's a heck of a player, and we knew that they were going to win their fair share, but we knew we needed to win our fair share, and we just didn't win enough.
Denver Broncos played better than us today overall. Our defense, I think, played lights out from this standpoint, but as an offense, we got to do better.
Big games like this, they come down to a few plays, and again, defense played lights out. They gave us opportunity time after time again, and just didn't do a good enough job.
Now, we don't want to overlook the Panthers defense. They played really well as well. 5 sacks and a couple of turnovers for the Panthers D, bailing the offense out several times. But Cam and company simply couldn't get it going. And Ben, speaking of Cam Newton, very interesting post-game press conference for him. Just a few questions in, Cam got fed up and just walked off stage. We're going to have more on that coming up, as well as Peyton Manning, whether this will be his last game or not. Again, we'll get to that coming up next hour.
Yeah, a lot of post-game to talk about, especially that presser, Aaron. I want to get your opinion about that. Deion Sanders already weighing in this morning. We'll check back, Aaron. Thank you so much. Great breakdown. Now, coming up here, according to local media in California, North Carolina Governor Pat McCrory was actually in a car crash as he was leaving the Super Bowl. We're told his car was rear-ended, but that he was not driving. We're told he did have some minor pain after that crash, but reports say another passenger was actually taken to the hospital to be looked over. 5:37, covering our counties, Greenville County.